the frontman of a team that would be known by its own distinct nickname, Showtime, like it was a piece of theater or art of itself.
Earvin "Magic" Johnson was 19 years old when the Los Angeles Lakers made him the first overall pick in June 1979, weeks before his 20th birthday that August. By the time his rookie season reached its defining moment the following spring, he had already turned 20, but the doubts that greeted his arrival as a teenager never fully left the conversation around him. Popular memory suggests the arrival of Earvin "Magic" Johnson in 1979 was met with universal certainty regarding his role as a point guard.
We got to the top of the tunnel. We had to wait because this traffic was out there and the fans were throwing stuff at us. And I was very quiet and very humble.
Establishment voices viewed his 6'9" frame as a structural problem rather than an immediate solution. The Los Angeles Lakers selected him with the first overall pick, despite traditionalists arguing that a man of his stature belonged in the paint. Earvin "Magic" Johnson entered a league where guards were small and forwards were stationary. Coaches across the NBA questioned how a player with such height could navigate the lateral quickness required to defend elite backcourt stars. This teenage rookie represented a direct challenge to the rigid positional roles that had defined professional basketball for decades.
A hard foul on him and say, hey, I'm back, Michael.
Amazing scene with the comeback of basketball legend.
The Lakers took a massive gamble on a player whose physical profile defied every manual written for the position at the time. Skepticism centered on the defensive end of the floor during that 1979-80 inaugural season. Rival scouts predicted that smaller, faster guards would exploit his high center of gravity on the perimeter. Tactical consensus held that Johnson would struggle to stay in front of quick opponents, forcing the Lakers to hide him defensively or move him to the power forward spot.
Pass the other. That is amazing.
Magic became bigger than a basketball game.
Jack McKinney and Paul Westhead faced the challenge of integrating a player who saw the floor like a playmaker but occupied the space of a big man. Size and skill created a unique tactical laboratory in Los Angeles. Critics waited for his defensive footwork to fail against smaller lineups. Johnson answered by using his reach to disrupt passing lanes in ways traditional guards could never replicate, often starting fast breaks with a single deflection. The 1980 NBA Finals reached a crisis point during the third quarter of Game 5 at the Forum in Los Angeles. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar attempted to run back on defense when his foot caught the hardwood, causing a severe inversion of his ankle.
Abdul-Jabbar has given the Los Angeles Lakers a victory, and Magic Johnson is up like they just won the NCAA.
He collapsed near the baseline and clutched his leg as the home crowd went silent. This moment threatened to derail a dominant season as the Lakers relied on their center for nearly every defensive rotation and half-court set. Abdul-Jabbar eventually limped back into the game to finish the contest, but the physical toll became apparent as soon as the final buzzer sounded. Team doctors determined he could not travel to Philadelphia for the following matchup, leaving the roster without its most productive interior force. Lakers' strategy revolved entirely around the verticality and shot-blocking presence of their veteran center. Without him, the defense lost the primary deterrent against the aggressive drives of Julius Erving. Los Angeles functioned with a defensive system designed to funnel opponents toward the rim, a tactic that failed mathematically without a 7-footer to anchor the paint. Statistical patterns from the season showed the team surrendered significantly more high-percentage shots whenever Abdul-Jabbar sat. Offensive sets also required a complete overhaul, as the reliable scoring of the low post had been the foundation for their half-court execution. The team faced a Game 6 on the road against the 76ers with a tactical void at the center position that no traditional backup was prepared to fill. Lakers players gathered for the flight to Philadelphia under a cloud of uncertainty following the loss of their star center. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar remained in California to treat his injured ankle, leaving a literal and metaphorical void at the front of the team plane. Magic Johnson boarded the aircraft and immediately occupied the seat typically reserved for the captain. This gesture bypassed the standard hierarchy of a professional locker room. He looked at the other players and announced his intention to start at center for the upcoming game. Veteran teammates felt a shift in the collective mood as the teenage rookie projected a level of confidence that countered the grim reality of losing their leading scorer. Magic Johnson intended to abandon his natural position on the perimeter, forcing the rest of the squad to reconsider their defensive and offensive identities without their primary anchor. Professional athletes in 1980 operated within a rigid system where size strictly determined a player's function on the court.
Want 2 points. They don't want to work with their back to the basket. That's not cool. They want to go out there, stratosphere, and shoot three-pointers.
Veteran players often viewed rookies with a level of skepticism that required years of performance to overcome. Magic Johnson disregarded these traditional boundaries by assuming the leadership mantle during a championship crisis.
Pulls up on Walton. Right. Now Lucas on the drive, goes in on but not scored. Here's the play, he goes up.
The Lakers veterans transitioned from a state of tactical despair to a collective sense of audacity because of the rookie's enthusiasm. Magic Johnson prepared to handle the rebounding and rim protection duties usually assigned to men several inches taller. Paul Westhead recognized that his rookie's presence at center offered a psychological advantage that a standard backup could not provide.
Those are good shots. Here is Kareem, backing in, turning around, Walton. A great start, 4-by-2.
The players moved toward Game 6, not as a depleted unit, but as an experimental lineup driven by a 20-year-old rookie who refused to accept positional limitations.
Now they more double screens, Rick. That's what they worked against Portland defenses. Give them the easy shot that time at the basket.
Earvin Magic Johnson stood at center court in the Philadelphia Spectrum to contest the opening tip against the 7'1" Caldwell Jones. This visual confirmed the Lakers' radical departure from standard NBA rotations. A rookie point guard jumping for the ball against a traditional center signaled a complete tactical breakdown for the Philadelphia 76ers. Magic Johnson's presence in the circle dictated a pace that negated the size advantage of the Philadelphia frontcourt. The Lakers chose to exploit speed over structure, forcing the 76ers to defend the entire length of the floor from the first possession. This strategic shift forced the Philadelphia defense to react to a dynamic ball handler instead of a stationary post player. The Philadelphia 76ers prepared for a game centered on neutralizing the post-up game of an elite big man. Magic Johnson rendered that scouting report useless by transforming every defensive rebound into an immediate fast break. His ability to grab the ball and initiate the offense himself removed the need for a traditional outlet pass. This improvisation bypassed the structured half-court traps the 76ers had practiced throughout the series. Defenses in 1980 were not conditioned to track a 6'9" ball handler who could outrun their guards. Magic Johnson manipulated the spacing by dragging larger defenders away from the basket and forcing them to defend in the open court. These transitions prevented Philadelphia from establishing their defensive rhythm, turning a championship game into a showcase of positional fluidity.
In college basketball history, in the history of the Spectrum, it's 1992. Men's East 3. Duke.
The fourth quarter at the Philadelphia Spectrum in 1980 saw Earvin Magic Johnson abandon the perimeter to challenge the 76ers' interior defense directly. He secured contested rebounds against Caldwell Jones and Darryl Dawkins, immediately transitioning from a defensive anchor to a primary ball handler. Johnson exploited the absence of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar by mimicking the captain's signature weapons in the closing minutes. He pivoted in the lane and released several running hook shots that sailed over the outstretched arms of the Philadelphia frontcourt. This scoring burst neutralized the late-game rally by the 76ers and moved his individual total to 42 points for the evening.
Are you the best big man of all time?
Possibly.
The rookie displayed the physical strength of a veteran power forward while maintaining the peripheral vision required to locate open teammates under championship pressure.
Well, as anybody that's ever played this game. Kareem left alone for Phil. Chaney off to Kareem.
Each successful basket from the post forced Philadelphia to abandon their traditional defensive rotations. Traditional coaching logic in 1980 dictated that a player of Johnson's height belonged exclusively near the basket. Yet his performance defied those rigid constraints. He functioned as a hybrid offensive system, combining the rebounding tenacity of a front-court specialist with the tactical precision of a point guard. The mastery of the skyhook required a level of technical coordination rarely seen in a rookie barely into his 20s, forced out of his natural position. This versatility prevented the 76ers from double-teaming any single Laker, as Johnson could score from the block or find shooters on the wing with equal efficiency. His ability to control the glass while simultaneously directing the transition offense created a mismatch that the Philadelphia coaching staff could not solve through standard substitutions. The final period became a demonstration of how a single player could fulfill every tactical role on the court without a decline in efficiency. The commissioner presented Earvin Magic Johnson with the Finals MVP trophy at the conclusion of the 1980 championship series. Johnson remains the only rookie in league history to earn the honor after clinching the title on the road. This individual accolade validated a performance that dismantled the traditional boundaries of basketball positions. Scouts previously viewed a 6'9" frame as a requirement for the post, yet Johnson used that height to oversee the entire floor from the perimeter. His success in Philadelphia forced talent evaluators to reevaluate how they measured impact during the draft process. Johnson proved that physical stature no longer dictated a limited set of defensive or offensive responsibilities. The era of the rigid specialist began to fade as coaches looked for players who could replicate this adaptive style. General managers shifted their focus toward versatility as the primary metric for elite prospects following this championship run. These executives changed the blueprint for a franchise player from a positional specialist to a multifunctional athlete. Johnson's performance provided the structural evidence that size and ball handling are not mutually exclusive traits. Talent evaluators began prioritizing players who possessed the rebounding strength of a forward and the passing instincts of a guard. Johnson demonstrated that a player's vision could neutralize the advantages of a more structured opponent. Coaches prioritize the ability to disrupt every level of the defense over traditional height measurements. Irvin Magic Johnson's style defined the modern approach to the game before his 21st birthday. The whiteboard gave way to the athlete,